Good afternoon, everybody. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon, which has been unusual lately because we've had so much rain. Anyway, the story that I'm going to read you today is called The Penguin Thief, and you will understand as I get further in the story. The Penguin Thief. Our mama was probably one of the kindest people you would ever meet. She had a very busy life with 4 daughters, her many meetings, the garden club, the flower shows, just to name a few of her daily activities. One thing Mama held in high regard was helping children that came from what she told us were unfortunate circumstances. It was not uncommon for Mama to just lean down and give children hugs and invite them to lunch with us. Invariably, we would walk in the door and Mama would tell us to run set another place at the table. We all expected and understood Mama's passion for helping others, as a rule. There were some little boys who lived down the street, and I want to take a moment to share that at recess, Carpenter number 1, these little boys made my life hell. They would chase me around the schoolyard, pulling my braids and screaming my name, would run and invariably end up in the principal's office, Miss Mitchell, where I would have a bleeding knee or elbow. Needless to say, I was not happy to learn Mama had invited one of my tormentors to lunch. Right before the heathen was to arrive, Mama gathered us together and reminded us to mind our manners and be nice. This little boy was our guest. Was I ready to argue the point? Yes. But the infamous eyebrow went straight up, and I knew not to say a word. There was a knock at the door, and Mama let our guest in. I stared at him, and he stared right back at me. He had this little smirk on his face, which Mama didn't even see. "Catherine, say hello and take our guest to the table." I uttered a half-audible "low" and showed him to the dining room table. Mama told him to have a seat, and we all began to eat. Mama mostly talked during the meal, and I looked directly at my plate until we were having dessert. My daddy had a favorite cookie. They were called penguin cookies, and on occasion we were allowed to have one with our ice cream, but only one, and that was always the rule. As we were finishing dessert, I heard a question coming from the mouth of our guest, but I thought I must be delirious. Was he asking for 2 penguin cookies? Well, was he in for a surprise? We all knew the answer to that. And then I heard it. "Of course you may, sweetheart. Catherine, pay us the cookies." What? No way. He could not have 2 penguin cookies. These were the rules. It had to be a mistake, and I said as much. Well, the next thing I knew, my arm was grabbed. I was marched to the bathroom, and I was delivered a serious lecture. Thank God I was excused from the table. I saw that cookie thief eyeing me and my red puffy eyes. I do have to say, he wasn't smirking. Actually, he looked upset, but he got that second cookie, and it took me a very long time to get over my embarrassment. The funny thing was, from that day on, he stopped chasing me at recess. Mama told us when we said our prayers at night, we should pray for all the less fortunate children in the world. I did, but I still referred to him as the Penguin Thief, because I knew God would know who I was praying for. Now, let me say to all that are listening, I certainly understood that my mother wanted to share and be generous and loving to all those that she thought needed it, and she was that way. I fortunately learned from her a very good lesson early in life, and I of course changed my tune. Anytime anyone needed something, I was more than happy to help them out. I'm sure that most of you listening, probably all of you listening, understand and do the same thing. I hope you all have a wonderful day. By the way, I have looked for those penguin cookies for years and years. They discontinued them. And if any of you ever see or hear of that cookie, please private message me. I would so love to taste it again. Have a great day.